to my channel. This is Wanjiru from Kenya to Japan, and I'm very excited that you took some time to visit my channel. And in case this is your first time watching this video or watching my videos, please remember to become a subscriber. Stay with us. And if you're looking for any information regarding Japan that I might have, actually you may want to look at more of the other videos I've done. So I'm excited because I have shared a lot with in this channel about working in Japan, and I'm very excited that some people have actually followed through and applied for jobs, and they are looking forward to coming to Japan. So that's exciting. And yes, and I encourage you all, if your dream is to come work in Japan, don't give up. Yes, I would say don't give up. Keep going on, keep fighting, keep sending in those applications. Yes, don't give up. Yes. Now, I'm really excited because of this video, and I'm really excited about my family visiting me in Japan. And one of the things I realized, actually, I was trying to look for information on, tourist visitor visa from Kenya or Africa to Japan. But I realized I didn't find any information on YouTube. So, and I feel like this video is going to be really helpful to help people understand how do you go about applying for a visitor's visa from Kenya or Africa to Japan. But of course, requirements are different depending on where you are traveling from. So this will be just basically based on experience from Kenya to Japan. All right. So one of the things I've realized is actually Japanese embassies are very straightforward. They have all the information on the website. So if you're looking to apply for a tourist visa, I would advise you to do that. Go to their website. On your country, like if you're in Kenya, go to the Embassy of Japan in Kenya. In the website, you'll be able to find information on requirements. And actually, you will need to download some of the forms there, like the application, and basically all the forms are there that you need to fill in and go to the embassy. Also another thing I would advise you to do is write an email to them. They have their email there. Just write to them and ask about booking an appointment and asking what's the best time to go. I think that's really important. And I find that they are kind enough to respond to you within 24 hours or within 2 days. So I think that's really important. Or still, better still, you can make a call. Yes, I've seen that whenever you call, they pick and they are very kind. I mean, for all the few times I've traveled, I think I have really come to love the Embassy of Japan and how they really help. They're very helpful and with information and all that. So yeah, do check with your country. If you're not from Kenya, do check with your Embassy of Japan in your country and just see the information they have there. And before you go, just write an email. Yeah, they might also tell you, probably something extra information that you may need. I think that's the first step really where you should start. Now, let's go to the inviting family. And this, I'll just focus on relatives because, this is probably, where I have really experienced how it probably is. So after you've checked what you require on the website, of course, you need to fill it in and just make sure you have everything because they will actually need everything that they have asked for on the website. Now, for some of those things that you need on the website for a tourist visa, there's requirements for you who is in Japan inviting your family, and there's what your family will also need before they go to the visa for their appointment. Now, one thing to note about the embassy of Japan in Kenya, you don't need an appointment. You just need to show up between 8:30 to 11:30. Yeah, that's morning. They only do morning. Yeah, and the embassy is in Upper Hill. Yeah, so it's not so far from Nairobi if you're in Nairobi. Now, for me as a person inviting them, I needed to give a copy of my birth certificate, a letter of invitation. So the letter of invitation is on the website. So you download it, and you know, I'm the person inviting, so I had to fill it in, sign and everything, and then of course include the both of them. But for my case, I just did 2 letters separate for each of them. And I needed to send up my passport copy, and that's a bio data page, so you just need that page, yeah. And then I needed to send my residency card, a copy of my residency card. That's very important because it shows, you know, you're actually working here. So that's very important, and it has your address. Then the other thing I needed is a letter of guarantee. Now the letter of guarantee is a letter that actually just says that I'm the one who's actually taking care of everything for them. So when they come here, so that's very important for the person inviting. The other thing that needed to come from me was my bank statement here. You need to be able to show that you're able to support the people you're inviting here. So that's very important as well. Actually, they ask either a bank statement or an income tax certificate. So if you have either of that, then you can give that. And the other thing they'll ask you to do, they ask you to do a budget. Like they'll ask you to do a budget of how much you intend to spend. So from the time they leave Kenya to getting here, to the days they'll be here, to the bills you pay in your house and everywhere you go, you need to do that. The other thing is you need to do is also do an itinerary for the days of spending and the places you intend to take them. So if you want to go this place, so you kind of just need to fill that in. And they actually have that form also on the website, which you're supposed to use. And these forms are actually available in English and Japanese, so you can download either. So the English version is actually better and it's available. Now, is there anything else that you needed from me? I think that's all. So that's all you need as a person who is inviting them. Then once you fill in all that and send over to them, then they print, they'll take that to the embassy. Now on their side, they'll be asked for, of course, their birth certificate also. So the birth certificate really shows the relationship. Yeah, it shows that, you know, this is my child and this is my mother. So that's important. And they also need photos. Yeah, that's the passport pictures. And they're very specific on the size. So it's very important to be keen on the size so that when you go to take the photos, you can just let the people taking the pictures know that this is the exact size. Because if it's not exact, you probably be sent back for that exact size. And they also need, of course, their passport. That's very important. And they need their flight booking. So this is a flight booking. So actually this one you can get the dummy one, so you don't need to get the real one. So but that's a requirement. And for the flight booking, actually I find it, if you're able to get an agent who's able to do that for you, I think they can do that. I know it's usually cancelled after 48 hours, but yeah, around 48 hours, but you can be able to get it if you know how to book. But I know that you have to have an agent to help you book. So some agents can book for you for free depending on the relationship you have with them, and because also depending on if you're going to book the ticket with them, or they will charge you probably 1,000 Kenya shillings. Yeah. And then yeah, then they also need a flight, not a bank statement. So like my mom needed to have a bank statement, so they need mine and they need hers as well. I think they usually need this just in case, you know, you're traveling and depending on the person on the other side, and you know, just in case something happens, it's good to have something. Or also, you know, at least have something to show that you can support yourself just in case of anything. Yeah. And then also my mom was asked for an employer letter. So a letter from the employer saying that you've been released for this number of days to go, so that I think that's very important to just have that letter from the employer saying that they have actually allowed you to travel for those days. And I know they also have, so they give an option. If you have a business, you need to give your business permit to show that you actually have something to go back to. Or if you're employed, then that letter from the employer is very important. And then the other thing is, of course, they need the address of the inviting person. So they needed my address, my Japanese address where I stay. So that's important. And something else for someone traveling that I realized that's very important for someone traveling with a child. So if you're traveling with a child, maybe you're, well, okay, if for example my mom traveled with my son, and his father had to write him a letter, and that letter needs to be notarized. So this notarized, you have to do it, I think, in a government office or in a court, to say that this person has been allowed to travel, with this child. So that's very important. And actually, I also realize it's also important if you're one parent traveling alone with a child and the other parent is not accompanying them. It's very important to have that letter. So they might ask, some places they may ask you, and some places they may not ask you, but having that letter is important. But especially this really mostly if you're traveling with a child who's not your biological child. It's important to have it, because that might actually, the child protection laws, and that may actually make you miss a flight if that is missing. So that's very important. And so this basically is the requirement for inviting family and relatives coming on tourist visa. And I believe this is some of the things you actually need if you're inviting a family member, a friend. So these are some of the things you probably need. You need to provide, and they also need to provide. So this is just an easy guide. So in the future, I'm going to do another video on how about a tourist. If you're just coming as a tourist and not to really visit someone, if you're coming for sightseeing and you just want to come and have for holiday, for vacation, what are the requirements? So I'll do that video next, just for those people who want to travel and see Japan. Japan has beautiful destinations indeed. There's so much to see here, and I feel like this has not been explored enough, especially on the side from Kenya. But anyway, this is a simple guide for inviting your relatives, family. Now let's talk a little bit about if you're inviting your child to come and stay with you in Japan, maybe to go to school here. So that's very possible. And one thing I realized while inviting my son here is that once you bring your child here, the next thing you need to do is go to the city hall near you. Once you go to the city hall and just explain your situation, and they will give them a residency card. Yeah. And then they'll get a residency card, and then now they can stay here and now go to also I think City Hall can help you know about how to go about school, and you can get your child into a school. But before that, I think it's fair enough, depending on how old the child is, it's fair enough to have them learn some Japanese, because the school here is actually taught in Japanese, so that they need some level of understanding of Japanese. And from what the information I gathered is that the school, they don't need to pay for the school. They don't need to pay school fees, but they need to pay lunch. Yeah, they eat. They need to pay some small fees for daily food or lunch. And yeah, so I think that's as much as I know. So, but this is to just say it's very possible if you have a child and you're considering coming here, it's very easy to bring them here and just be able to. The only thing you need to think about is navigating, dropping them to school, picking them up, and of course consider the distance from the school, and who picks them, who takes care of them. But I know you can always plan about with the schools and maybe after school. So I see people do it all the time here. So I don't think it's impossible. Yes. So this is as far as I will go with this video. And please let me know if you have any questions about traveling to Japan, and if you're considering coming on visitor visa, what questions do you have? And I also want to know what more information do you want to know about in terms of, you know, a future video, probably what you want to hear about. I'm so happy to just, yeah, you know, look for more information and update you guys on what's happening here. Otherwise, that's it from me today, and please remember to support my channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Yes, so thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video.